Hello everyone, I'm Forrest McFreelava, and this is Speedplay Netherlands number 26. We left off with most of Europe essentially how we want it, with a few key exceptions. First of all, just right off the bat, our estates do not have enough territories to be loyal, so we go ahead and give quite a few provinces, essentially everything that still has autonomy above 25%, to the burghers. We then go ahead and transfer a few of our regiments in Africa with an attempt to basically just sort of colonize further. And finally, we left off with all of our borders cleaned up except for the borders in the east. And quite frankly, there's no great reason to leave the east a mess, so we declare war on the Teutonic Order. Now, the Teutonic Order is very notable. They're allied to the Livonian Order and also Muscovy, which has Lithuania as a vassal. So we're at war with essentially everyone to our east, at least everyone we directly border to our east, and that necessarily broke our alliance with the Muscovites. Now, we could have kept the Muscovites as a loyal ally basically until the end of the game. However, I don't think we would have actually made any progress by doing that, and we would really limit ourselves, and really we would just set an artificial limit that we don't need to set, and it's really for the best that we do fight them. So our armies are just completely overpowering. Even with the Muscovites in the war, there's really not very much they can do. We also declare a few side wars, one in Africa. We're going to spread up East Africa, and also another against Croatia, which interestingly enough is independent. We fight a few rebels, and also Austria, which joined on Croatia's side, so we're just going to keep them more or less occupied until we can make peace with everyone, essentially. We do go ahead and peace out the Livonian Order, taking all of their lands, really that aren't just nearly surrounded by Moscow. They have one province left slightly in the distance. Kilwa, we managed to just keep marching up, and Muscovy is probably, well, going to live true to their name, and we're probably going to have to push deep into their hinterland in order to force peace on them. However, that's something that we're going to be very able to do. I want to take at least a row of provinces from the Muscovites and also just annex their Lithuanian vassal. Now, exactly how much that's going to take remains to be seen. Hopefully that'll be a rather straightforward peace deal. Now, we've already occupied all the lands that we want, other than Lithuania and a bit in Finland. However, we've got troops on the way to do that right now, and it should hopefully work out. Meanwhile, in Kilwa, we have to deal with the fort, which is a bit of a, well, just a bit slowing us down, and in Moscow, or in Russia, we're just pushing forward. We have another series of rebellions throughout East Africa, or West Africa. Luckily, we have just forces everywhere. We press even deeper into Muscovy, and we're probably going to have to just keep going. Kilwa is doing fairly well, and really, since they don't have very many forts in Muscovy, we can just keep going. Kilwa, we've nearly entirely sieged out. Muscovy, we're pressing ever further. There is the occasional battle, however, we are winning all of them so far. We managed to siege all of Kilwa out, so we're able to go ahead and peace them. Just fully annexing them, we begin coring all their provinces and add them automatically all to a new trade company. Meanwhile, the Muscovites still refuse to make a just and decent peace. We do go ahead and offer, but it is just not at all accepted. I see what would probably be a nice Sweden border and can't really decide. Ultimately, we're going to have to keep pressing, though, and we can deal with the finer points later as we keep attempting to make peace. Ultimately, we're not really facing any resistance, so the only thing that's really a problem with this Muscovite war is that they're trading land for time, and we don't have very much time to do this. We are in the last 20 years of the game, and ultimately we were going to have to fight Muscovy at some point if we wanted to clean up our eastern borders. The fact that Lithuania is their vassal means that there's really nothing we could have done to clean up Eastern Europe without attacking them. So it's probably for the best that we got this done early. I'm still probably going to end up going into a war against the Ottomans, as well as another war with France to just hopefully kick them out of Europe entirely. At any rate, there's a lot of just marching forward into the depths of Muscovy. And we really can't afford this on a time factor. They did get revolutionary rebels, however, we were able to piece them out. Or not piece them out, we were able to just destroy them with our clients. We piece out Croatia and also Austria, just annexing the both of them. We're only going to keep Croatia. We'll make a new client state to eat Austria's land. Our armies continue to press forward. We nearly lose a battle, but then manage to win it by bringing reinforcements over. And we continue to press deeper and deeper into the Muscovite hinterland. Although, it's really just taking a worryingly long amount of time. We do start pulling troops back. We may be a little preemptive with that, as the war is still going on. They also get a new set of rebellions, which we do go ahead and just bring our armies to bear against. Our forces continue to generally just leave their country. However, we do have a few groups moving ever forward. Finally, though, they do accept peace. We peace out with them, and then we peace out with the Teutonic Order, taking for ourselves essentially all the lands that we want in northeastern Europe. We go ahead and sell all of these topmost bits to Sweden, and we're going to create for ourselves a new client state, which we will feed all of the border territories that we don't really want. With that in mind, we go ahead and just find a suitable name for our new client state. It's just going to be Osteuropa, which is just simple Dutch for Eastern Europe. With that done, we go ahead and get them a nice looking flag, essentially going to just be the flag of Ukraine, because, well, it's mainly going to be a Ukrainian client state, and we can always rename them. We go ahead and get them their first set of territories, and go ahead and move them just a little bit further. So this will almost certainly remain as our direct eastern border. We do still have to take over Kiev. You'll notice we are very overextended. We'll probably clean up Kiev, Poland, starting with Poland and then moving on to Kiev. We are going to face a slew of rebellions, as we are rather overextension, or rather over 100% extension, and the revolts will therefore also be larger. However, our armies are still very powerful, and we're only at war with a 3-province Poland right now, so we will be able to hopefully keep everything under control as we core enough provinces to get ourselves under 100% overextension. We go ahead and transfer all of Poland's lands, and then give them over to Osteuropa. From there, we declare war on Kiev in an attempt to do the same. Meanwhile, we are still facing revolts. It isn't that significant of an issue at the moment. We are able to just keep moving forward. There are revolts all throughout the empire. Realistically, though, other than France's land and whatever lands we take in the colonies, we're more or less done with direct annexations. So we've really nearly gotten to the very end, and a great end at that. The rebellion problem is an issue, although it's not going to break us. We still have really 300,000+ manpower, so even a slew of terrible casualties aren't going to do anything against us. We have a massive reserve of gold, or of ducats, so that's basically all taken care of as well. Really, I don't see anything stopping us, even though we are so overextended. We go ahead and fully integrate Kiev into Osteuropa, and just like that, we have cleaned up Eastern Europe's borders quite a bit. The main thing left is the Ottoman Empire, which we go ahead and declare war on right away. Now, we are feeding Osteuropa quite a lot rather quickly, so we could very well expect unrest in their country. We also get a massive revolt in London, which is a bit of a problem. We do, however, have a fleet nearby and an army nearby as well, so we're able to transport troops over. We unify them, and then get ready to attack. Meanwhile, we're targeting Ottoman forts with our armies. We go ahead and attack the rebels, destroying them, and integrate the Czech Republic. We split a bit of an army off to go unsiege those provinces we lost to the English rebels. Our war in the Balkans is going amazingly well, and we're doing fairly well all throughout. We're going to go ahead and get more of our forces from Great Britain over. We also have to deal with our estates not being entirely loyal due to lack of provinces, so we go ahead and add a few more. And ultimately, our armies are advancing everywhere except East Africa, where they kind of just lost. Ultimately, though, we'll be able to bring more forces to bear in East Africa to deal with our rebel problem. And we don't really have to worry too much about the Ottomans. We'll keep sieging out their countryside as well as their forts. And ultimately, the goal is going to be to take really everything in the Balkans from them and split it more or less evenly between the Balkan state and Osteuropa. Meanwhile, we do organize a force to deal with the rebels in East Africa, and our forces are doing fairly well against the Ottoman Empire. We go ahead and attack. We manage to win the battle in East Africa, and we will ship a force up. Now, what we can probably get from the Ottomans as well is the Suez Canal zone. It may be that we have enough time that we can build the Suez Canal before the end of the game, which would mean that in the last few years we'd be able to really quickly and hopefully successfully spread into maybe India or Southeast Asia. At any rate, we're dealing with a lot of rebels really just forever, and we do have armies really anywhere that we need to deal with that, so it won't be too much of a crippling issue. I go ahead and see what we'll be able to get from the Ottomans in a peace deal. We'll be able to get really everything we could hope for. We'll be able to get Mecca as well as Jerusalem and the Suez Canal zone, as well as everything in the Balkans except Greece. It's really just an amazing peace deal. Now it's just a matter of fighting the fight until we can earn it. Now you'll notice that by that peace deal, Bulgaria and Crimea don't really make sense as states that would still exist. So we're going to declare war on them, starting with Bulgaria, just because the Balkan state already cored all of its lands, so I want to give them more lands to core first. That'll also give Osteuropa a little bit more time to core the lands that we've already given them before we add even more on top. They are already dealing with a slew of rebellions, so hopefully this will make it so they don't have to worry too much. We go ahead and give Bulgaria entirely to the Balkan state, and just like that, we're done for today. Join us next time, and we will continue our war with the Ottomans. Thank you very much for watching.